Hi, I'm Elaine Harding. Welcome to my blog.stampwithelaine.com. Today's project is a split top box, which is a 2-inch cube, just big enough to put one of these Easter eggs in. It has a belly band to keep the box closed. The stamp set I'm using is Fable Friends. I'm only going to use just this little duck here because that portion will fit into a 1 1/4 inch circle punch. To make the box base, you need a piece of powder pink cardstock, 8 1/16 of an inch by 6 inches. In metric, that's 20.4 centimeters by 15.2 centimeters. You need a strip of shaded spruce that's 3/4 of an inch by A4 length. In metric, that's 2 centimeters by an A4 length for the belly band. Scraps of Whisper White for stamping and punching the label, and a scrap of shaded spruce to punch the scallop circle. The Garden Impressions DSP. These are 6 by 6 inch designer series papers. 48 sheets in a pack, and I think there are 4 each of 12 double-sided designs. Out of one sheet of paper, I cut 6 1 7/8 inch by 1 7/8 inch squares, 2, 4, 6, and 6 1 7/8 inch by 7/8 inches rectangles. In metric, that's 4.8 by 4.8 centimeters and 4.8 centimeters by 2.2 centimeters. Tuxedo Black Memento ink, shaded spruce blend combo, and the stamping blend petal pink combo, and the dark mango melody. The punches I'm using are the 1 1/4 inch circle punch and the 1 3/8 inch scallop circle punch. You'll also need some linen thread and the mini 3/8 inch or 1 centimeter powder pink mini ruffled ribbon. Now, because this is a split top box and that's a part of the box lid, you have to create a 1/16 of an inch tolerance so that the box will shut and meet in the middle. If you don't, then you will end up with a gap like that, but this one doesn't have a gap, it stays shut. So in order to do that, you have to score it a little bit differently. When you're making box lids for any box, if you make it a 1/16 or cut your cardstock a 1/16 of an inch larger than what you need, it will fit over the box base perfectly. The split top open box is an integral part of the box itself. We have to score it a little bit differently. I'm going to show you on my trimmer that this long line here is the 1 inch mark, and the next mark along is actually a 1/16 of an inch. Now I need to score align my paper so that it's between the 1 inch and the 1/16 of an inch. Can you see that? So it's just a tad over. So that's what happens if you're using the trimmer. If you're using the Simply Scoring tool, we'll have to do it a little bit differently, because obviously when you're butting up the cardstock to the right angle here, there's no other place you can go except at the 0 mark. Before I go any further, I'm going to score on the short side first as normal at 2 inches and 4 inches. In metric, that will be 5 centimeters and 10.2 centimeters. Rotate my cardstock so that the long side is at the top. Now this time, instead of butting it up at the right angle here, I'm going to align it at the 1 inch mark. Okay? And I'm just going to scoot it over a little bit so that the cardstock is equidistant between the 9-inch mark and the 9 1/8 inch mark, 1 inch and 7/8 inch mark. Okay, then I'm going to score at 2 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches and 8 inches. Keep my paper exactly in the same position and find the 2 3/4 inch mark and partially score down to that first score line. Okay, hold on to my cardstock firmly and run my stylus at the 2 3/4 inch mark down the scoreboard. So I'm now at the bottom of the page and I can score on 2 3/4 from the bottom edge up to that bottom score line. And then I'll do the same at the 7 1/4 inch mark down to that first score line. I find the groove at the 7 1/4 inch mark, run it past the bottom edge of my cardstock, and then carry on scoring from the 7 1/4 inch mark up to that bottom score line. Okay, so basically 3/4 of an inch between the last score line and this score line. They're uneven, and this is actually the side of your box. I've drawn a diagram of our box base, and basically the hashed lines that's your score lines and your fold lines, and the solid lines are where you want to cut. So we need to cut the center panel here along the first score line from the top and the bottom score line from the bottom. But in order to get there, you need to cut through these bits here. Okay, and then to get at that cut, you need to fold the cardstock back and cut through. Alright, and to cut the other side, you just simply fold that side and cut here. And you do the same for all the remaining sides. Then I forgot to cut this bit. And then you can see how the box folds. So that's your main box inside, and then these go on top. That folds over. That goes on top. And that folds over. And there's your split top box. So now we've cut the panels, I'm just going to cut a wedge on these smaller rectangles. Burnish all these lines now for a crisp box. Now it doesn't really matter because this paper doesn't really have a distinctive orientation, but if it did, then you need to be mindful that your designer series paper is upright in the right orientation. I'm going to glue these end panels first. I'm just going to mark these two panels with an X because that's where the lid will be glued to, and I need to glue the designer series paper on these panels last. The crosses are there to remind me not to glue those papers on just yet. So I'll only do the two outer ones here. And I've deliberately left these edges straight rather than notch it, because I need a straight edge so that I make sure my box is level at the top. If I put a bit of adhesive on there, glue these bits together, and I'll just hold it down until it bonds. I want to adhere the designer series paper to the sides of the box here. Then I'm going to put my box on its side and close the lid, and then apply adhesive to inside panels. Okay. Hold it down until it bonds, then glue designer series paper onto the panel here. Then repeat for this side. Grab the belly band and wrap it round the box. Snip off the bit that you don't need. Apply adhesive. Hold it there till it bonds. Now for a bit of stamping. Now this is a post-it note and the sticky side is uppermost, and I'm just going to ink up my stamp and stamp it on here, and then cut out the bit that I don't want. Put it back on the stamp. Ink it up again. Oh, just missed out a step. I should have cleaned off the stamp first before I did that. I want to stamp my greeting as well. Oops, off camera. So I've stamped my greeting. Punch it out with the 1 1/4 inch circle punch, and I'll colour the duck in shaded spruce. This is the dark, and I'll probably speed this up. Punch out a scallop circle with a 1 3/8 inch scallop circle punch. Put some adhesive on the back. Punch a hole. Grab a ribbon and pop it on the box over the belly band. I'm going to thread some linen thread through there first. Loop it and pull it tight. Grab a glue dot and attach that. And then tie a bow. the chocolate in. So there you have it, a split top box with an Easter egg in it. I hope you've enjoyed this week's tutorial. If you do like it, do subscribe or share on Facebook and give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon. Bye.